JMMB Group has always been about love and standing for the greatness of all. It's in everything we do. It's in our DNA.
JMMB was founded on unconditional love. And because of that, we see ourselves as a part of one big family. Therefore, we have to have the best interest of all at heart, our team members, our clients, our shareholders, and our communities. And that, we believe, is the reason for our success. Because love is at the heart of what we do.
In the 1970s, an ordinary Jamaican woman walked into a financial industry built on hierarchy, fear, and the bottom line. And in 1992, she said, no, we are going to build this differently. We are going to build it on love. Tonight, on the Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture, we ask the question that changed the company, changed the country's idea of business, and could change you. What's love got to do with it?
It is my pleasure to welcome our viewers across Jamaica and studio audience to the 13th annual Joan Duncan Memorial Lecture. The University of Technology Jamaica is pleased to continue our enduring partnership with the JMMB Joan Duncan Foundation in hosting this distinguished lecture. Our collaboration spans more than 2 decades and was strengthened in 2011 with the renaming of our School of Entrepreneurship to the Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership. JD Seal stands as a pioneering institution in the English-speaking Caribbean, offering the region's only specialized Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship and preparing students to lead with innovation, integrity, and social responsibility. As Jamaica's national STEM university, Youth at Jamaica remains committed to preparing the workforce of the future, not only with technical expertise, but with the ethical grounding and entrepreneurial mindset essential for nation building. Each year, this memorial lecture brings the mission of JD Seal and the enduring values of Joan Duncan, exploring the pillars of entrepreneurship, ethics, and leadership while addressing issues of national importance. This lecture continues to serve as a living tribute to the extraordinary legacy of the late Joan Duncan. Her legacy as a trailblazer in corporate leadership and a passionate and pioneering visionary was grounded in the core values of love, care, integrity, honesty, and openness. Her commitment to financial inclusion and human development continues to inspire. This year's lecture holds special significance as we welcome her children, Patricia Duncan Sutherland, Keith Duncan, Donna Duncan Scott, and David Duncan, who will share reflections inspired by their mother's life and legacy. Together, they will explore this year's compelling theme, What's Love Got to Do with It? How Family Values Drive Entrepreneurial Success. This timely conversation highlights the role of family, values-based leadership, and resilience in shaping successful entrepreneurs and responsible leaders. I invite our audience to listen keenly and engage with the insights shared as we continue this important national conversation on leadership, entrepreneurship, and ethical responsibility. Thank you for tuning in and do enjoy the presentation.
To know what Joan built, you must first know who Joan was, not just as a businesswoman, but as a mother, a friend, a quiet revolutionary. Please welcome her children to share their memories. Share one moment from growing up that, looking back now, it was your mother teaching you the value without ever saying, I'm teaching you about the value.
I did 2 years at Arden High School. Ended up at Arden, having come from Mandeville. I went to prep school in Mandeville. I remember once I got into trouble, a bunch of boys were hanging out by the field, by the football field, an area we were not supposed to hang out for whatever reason, I don't remember. And everybody that was hanging out by the football field was now in the principal's office or the assistant principal's office for caning. So I said, I'm not take no caning. You know, I did nothing wrong. There's no reason for me to be subjected to this punishment. So I said, call my mother. And they called mommy. I think she was at Workers Bank at the time. And mommy said, they explained what was going on. And she said, kill him. And that was that. Careful who you hang out with. Birds of a feather flock together. Lay down with dog, you get up with fleas, on and on and on. Just watch who you're hanging out with. She said, kill him.
Yeah. I'll put this. I'll continue with the men, and I'll leave the women for last. Keith, that lesson that you would have picked up from mom, without mom sitting you down and saying, Keith, I'm giving you a lesson about love and how that translates into what you ought to become, how you ought to carry yourself. So, your microphone is there.
Let me say, unconditional love. No, I gave my mother no ends of trouble.
I can imagine.
Right, no ends of trouble. And at all times, she bawl. You know, when I get out of line, she bawl and she, you know, it hurt her sometimes. But at the end of the day, we sit down and we reason and we talk. And she's back in my corner again. Back in my corner again, working with me, having true, honest conversations. That's what I call unconditional love. Mm-hmm. Because she always was in my corner, believing in me, no matter how I deviate. Unconditional love, that's what she teach me. Mm-hmm. All right.
Patricia, I put the same question to you.
Well, you know, for me, it would have been humanness. That we are all human beings, imperfect human beings. And she did that just by being herself and being totally honest with us about every experience she was having. If life was tough because she feels stressed with all 5 of us, she would sit down and she'd talk us through everything, and we understood everything. It was a very open kind of conversation.
No, but seriously, the openness, what that gave us is, like, you know, when you have a parent and a child have a relationship, it was more like a human being and a human being. Spirit, it was more spiritual. It wasn't so like, it wasn't hierarchical. Mm-hmm. You know, and therefore, you kind of grow up in a world that says it's okay to share how you're feeling. It's okay to share uncomfortable feelings. Yes. You know, we have to work it through. So I really got that from her. And then the other thing too, she was a dreamer. She always had a dream, you know, and she said, you always have to have a dream.
Yeah, I want to take some liberties here to ask, from this perspective, the display of unconditional love and the lesson, because a parent-child dynamic, the parent is the provider, is the senior person, the child receives, the child is junior. But you said that your mother made you all feel at the dinner table, like you were equals, just reasoning and sharing. And I'm sure this had something to do with how she ran her company. Quote unquote, what people would call junior staff, which of course you don't have staff at JMB, you have team members. Yeah. So team members who were not senior management didn't feel as if they were talking up to a senior manager. They felt as if they were relating to another member of the family. And this is how the love manifested, I would imagine, to help JMB to be where it is, based of course on mom's values. Am I right?
You're very correct. So equality was a critical part of who we were. And but equality didn't mean that you don't respect the roles that each person plays, right? So you are the managing director, you're playing that role. You are the teller, you're playing that role. You are in charge of the nursery, you're playing that role. But it doesn't mean that your ideas don't have value in a conversation or cannot contribute to the solution to whatever is presented.
Joan Duncan didn't separate her home life from her work life. And she insisted that JMB feel like family for everyone. When we return, we'll see what happens when a woman like that decides to build a company.
The Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership, UTEC Jamaica, #1 for innovation and entrepreneurship. After 10 years of service, we create the entrepreneurial mindset, enabling all our students to have a registered innovative business before they graduate. Enjoy the benefits of ease and convenience of our virtual 24/7 space at our Technology Innovation Center. Apply now and reap the rewards.
JMMB Moneyline is the unique online banking and investment system for you. Online transfers, bill payments, and buying and selling stocks. Simply log in and access JMMB Moneyline. Drive easy with JMMB, offering loans for new and used cars from JMMB Bank and protection through JMMB Insurance Brokers. Like lifelong friends, JMMB has your best interest at heart. Contact a JMMB advisor today and let's take on your futures together. JMMB and me.
La visión del amor se refleja en cómo trato a las personas, tanto en lo personal como en lo laboral. Me ha enseñado a actuar con empatía, respeto y compromiso. He entendido que construir relaciones genuinas y crear confianza es tan importante como lograr los resultados.
La visión del amor acá en el JMMB me ha impactado porque en momentos difíciles en la parte personal he encontrado el apoyo, he encontrado personas que me han dado la mano, también en lo profesional. Aparte de la conexión, en lo laboral también es una familia. Para mí JMMB es parte de mi familia.
JMMB y la visión del amor ha sido muy impactante para mi vida porque he aprendido la empatía, me ha ayudado a ver las cosas desde el punto de vista de otra persona. Todo lo que se hace con amor pues se hace bien. Aquí también todos somos familia.
Welcome back. In 1992, Joan Duncan identified a business partner, Dr. Noel Lyon, and together they said, we are going to build a money market brokerage on love, openness, honesty, integrity, and care. Now, in an industry where the unspoken rule was leave your heart at the door, they certainly embodied the heart being present in everything they did. For Joan, the human touch was essential, which is why it was quite common for her to greet a client with a big hug and ask them, how you do? And here's what's important. She didn't just write these values down and frame them. She insisted that they be lived. And tonight, we intend to show you how. David, what did your mother actually do that was different from how everyone else was running a financial company in Jamaica?
The idea that not only rich people or moneyed people should be able to make money with their money, right? So your average Joe has to work to make $1. Mm-hmm. The money man, so to speak, has his money working for him. So when mommy, leading up to, I actually left just as JMMB was kicking off. I left the country in 91. But it was very important to mommy that anybody could walk in with a small, so to speak, a relatively, or not relatively, a very small sum of money and be able to have that money work for them. There is a gentleman by the name of Dale Davis. We knew him when he was a 17-year-old security guard that was sent down to St. Lucia, Ocean Boulevard. That's who they sent down, this 17-year-old youth with a big gun on him hip, never hold gun yet. This was a security guard. Dale became her son. That she took him in, she took care of him. In fact, Dale said to me, the first time in his life he was hugged was by Joan Duncan. You know, and, you know, him love her, can't done. You understand? I'm sorry he's not here today. Anyway, Dale told me a story where at some point in the very early days of JMB, Mommy called everybody, a bunch of folks into her office and said, all right, who want house? And I said, well, what you mean house, Mrs. Duncan? She said, who want house? Everybody get in house. Some financial person that was responsible for, making sure things, as they should have been said, but they can't afford it on their salaries. Them can't afford a house. Everybody got a raise so that they could afford house.
Yes.
So when we talk about when love and the bottom line seemed to conflict,
yes,
right? The bottom line surely was significantly impacted by everybody getting a raise, some serious hundreds of % raise so that they could afford a house. But Johnny Bodie said everybody must have house.
Trisha, you were there when the vision of love was created with Beverly's facilitation. Take us into that room. What was the moment you knew this was not just another corporate exercise by the textbook?
Well, so we were here and we were living these values, this vision of love. We did write our mission statement that we want to have fun and love and all of these things. And I was in Mommy's office at the time. I was in charge of HR. And I was in Mommy's office and Mommy said, you know what happened? We have to write this thing down. We have to get everybody's idea in this thing. Bev, I think, was in the office today as well. And the conversation evolved. And she said, listen, man, we have to work out a way to get everybody's idea in it so we all own it. And it's not just a thing that we say. Yeah? And so that is, in doing that, you knew that that was not the typical way that you were going to then create a culture that everybody was a part of.
Keith, JMB, number 3 financial institution in the country. So how did the vision of love contribute to that?
I think the vision of love creates the space. I believe we're possibility thinkers. So, we really have to try and contain ourselves. So, very early in the day, we thought that JMB could take over the world. So we registered JMB in every single country that we could find and say, we'll get there, right? I think we have grown up somewhat, we have matured, but still, we have ambitions, and we don't allow ourselves to be limited. What limits us is the capital, because you have to have capital to invest, to move forward. And most importantly about the vision of love is that it's a win-win-win. And as my mother used to say, once you take care of the client, money will come, profits will come.
No, JMB is known for its customer service. A lot of people pay lip service to customer service, but JMB is known for customer service. So how did the vision of love contribute to you embodying what other people only speak about?
All right, the vision of love is fundamental to that, because it's not something to do, it's where you're coming from, right? So best interest of all, like he'd say, win, win, win. So as we said before, nobody no better than nobody. We're all a part of one human family. Therefore, we have the best interest of all at heart, right? So therefore, we understand at JMB that how we deal with our team members, they will reflect that with our clients. So it's very important. So it's a win, win, win. We want the team member to win, we want the client to win, and we want the shareholders to win. So it's 3 bottom lines. So you genuinely have 3 bottom lines. It matters to us. So we'll do our surveys and check on how the health of the organization, how team members feel. But the reason why we're able to, it's coming from the heart. We do work around teaching our team members how to really understand that they have greatness within them and how to manifest that greatness. How they stand for love for themselves and love for others. We do work on that. Because you have to learn how to become aware of who you're being. When I'm coming from ego, you go getting the feelings Or you can choose, you can calm down, center yourself, and choose to come from love. So we do work for us to really understand who we are as human beings, and that all of us have a choice. We have a choice. Once we become aware, we can choose not to come from ego or fear, but to come from love. It's a moment-by-moment choice. So we have to constantly remind our team members.
But where the vision of love is concerned, how much did that contribute to, you know, delivering customer service beyond just smiling when the person comes and saying, okay, I'm doing this because other people don't do this? So is it that you were motivated in the customer service you delivered by what other people were not doing, or simply because of what the all-encompassing mission of the vision of love was?
Right. Straight who we say we are. This is who we say. We say we have a vision of love. And by the way, it is shared by everybody, you know. The people, we do that work when we, in the interviews, or to really check, is this something you want to be a part of? And even the orientation, you'll hear a little more, is very important for you to decide, is this the kind of company I want to work on? Where I'm going to learn how to love myself and love others. And express that.
The vision of love and what's love got to do with it, embodied in how JMB does business. We break. Back with more after this.
You know them, the movers, the shakers, the people making a difference, who never shy away from a challenge, who are never afraid to dirty their hands, to jump in and get things done, who are never afraid to fail, to take a risk, to learn. You know them and aspire to be like them. And you can, because there's always room for greatness. Apply today. University of Technology Jamaica, the birthplace of greatness.
JMMB and me, it has to be JMMB and me. JMMB and me, it has to be JMMB and me.
Are you different from when? No matter what, banking, investments, step on the spot, insurance broker. Don't worry about that. With JMMB, you're always on top.
JMMB and me, it has to be JMMB and me. JMMB and me, it has to be JMMB and me.
What's new, nice house, new car. Save or spend conveniently near or far. Grow your wealth, business or family. And retirement with JMMB.
Like lifelong friends, JMMB has your best interest at heart. Contact a JMMB advisor today and let's take on your future together.
JMMB and me,
it will always be
JMMB and me.
The JMMB team is clear that the organization is based on unconditional love and mutual respect. This love is expressed in ongoing day-to-day working relationships and performance. Unconditional love is expressed in every interaction and is the foundation upon which the organization rests. Love motivates the JMMB team to serve its clients, who are a very special part of the family. The driving force of the organization is to provide opportunities for team players, not staff, to expand their potential, to recognize the power within, and their ability to fully express and manifest this power to the benefit of the individual, the organization, and the society. In the process, all individual and organizational goals are achieved. So, that is the foundation. The question, therefore, we must ask in the next 4 or so minutes, what's love got to do with success and serving the best interests of all. Help me to welcome Diana Burgess, our first ever culture officer and now head of culture and human development for JMB Trinidad and Tobago, Gifford Rankin, Deputy Chief Transformation Officer, and Henry Muir, Mas Muir, Mr. Muir, Security Guard Extraordinaire, and Rayan Stewart, Training Administrative Support Officer. Thank you for being here, lady and gentlemen. All right. Diana, you have to open the innings as the fairest of us all here on stage. The JMB culture. Articulate that for me.
For me, what I'll say about the culture is the experience of the team members. So, you know, you can have all these fancy words on a wall, but the work that we have done over the years is to ensure that we articulate it for the team members so that they can get it, one, and two, that they experience it. And they get to understand that when they're coming in, they're not coming in to a spa. It would be nice, but it's not a spa. It's love.
Yes.
But the part of the vision that you just read is it's about performance as well. And we are a financial institution.
Yes.
So we pull it together such that they understand love in action, love about accountability, being responsible, coming together for ownership, and they, you know, like that little thing. I remember Mrs. Duncan saying, look here, you're going to own this thing, you know, if there's a paper on the floor, you pick it up, that is the ownership, you get it. We have to be in it together.
Yes.
So it's like people are owning the thing, and that is what I think the difference is. It's not like being just given to them.
Gifford, I'm going to come to you next because I want to leave the generation and the experience gap for last. I want to play on that. Gifford, how long have you been with JMB? And well, answer that first.
I've been with JMB, I would say 17.9 years. June 8th will be 18 years.
Yes, and in that time, how have you seen the embodiment and the incorporation of the vision of love into the JMB culture, how it does its business and how it serves its clients redound to benefit the organization?
So I think even from the day I started, and I I knew somebody who worked at JMB, and you know, I didn't believe some of the things they said, because you're like, that can't be, because it's a business place. And I came in and I remember Trisha wasn't in my interview, and she says, who are you? And I said, I'm Gifford. Oh, she said, oh, you come to do some MIS work. Oh, come and talk to me.
Yes.
And I'm going, Trisha? They're saying, oh, that's Trisha Duncan Sutherland. I'm like, oh, she's a bigwig. And I'm like, she's like, oh, just call me Trisha. And I say, Keith, and he's like, I'm Keith, and you know, Donna, I have to hug you and go through. So for me, it was now, I'm coming into a space to do something, and I'm going, well, they're greeting me. Just I'm as a person, they're not saying they're execs, they're C-suite. I was not C-suite. So I'm like, they're greeting me. But then when we're having conversations, we're talking about performance, but we're talking about it with respect. And as Diana said, so we start to own it. So it becomes really, and it goes back to this whole family thing, you know, when people say blood is thicker than water.
That's
so you
right.
feel so invested in the success of this organization. So I believe I've become a part of the family and really try to live that every day. And we see it, we're going through it, everything. You're going through a project and you're working late. You're not feeling like, oh, Keita eating big dinner and we're working late. We know they're there. I mean, from time to time, they even check in with us. So you feel that you really want to give a little bit more. And for me, that really has been how the vision of love have impacted my time at JMB.
And you have 17.9 more years left in you?
I have 17.9 more years left in me, right?
Hear you on that. Let me come to the youngster. Get your microphone, Rayan, because you're going to tell me how long you've been with JMB.
I have been at JMB a few years shorter than Gifford.
A few years.
I have been here all of 3 years in the company.
Yes.
It has been a dynamic 3 years.
Yes.
A great company to work. JMB has mastered the delicate art of ensuring team members own their portfolio and by extension own their part of the company. Mm-hmm. So you're never feeling, okay, I'm employed to do this and I do it at my best, and then I'm paid and buy. You own your portfolio and you feel that you're a part of the organization itself, where persons, even in their language, they speak in that way. So you'll never hear a team member say, I work here, or they said, my workplace. Even when persons are communicating with each other as internal clients, and especially for external clients, the verbiage expresses what the vision of love is. So yeah.
John Holt says he wants a love he can feel, and I'm sure the clients, customers, family members of JMMB feel that love. Mas Henry.
Yes,
Mr. Muir.
Good evening.
Good day to you. Good to you. For how long have you been with the company, sir?
Been with JMMB 29 years.
29 years.
And I plan to go in the security work for just 1 year.
Yes.
But where I was working at Eureka Medical,
yes.
One morning the security chief come and say them have to move me because the owner cannot pay to a bus.
Yes.
So he take me and put me in the van. And I said, wonder am I going to know if I'm in some hill or whatever, because I know I really work in a certain area.
Yes.
I just said just 1 year I plan to go into work because I couldn't get any next work. Anyway, him drive with me come on Trafalgar Road and turn up Harton Avenue, which I never know is Harton Avenue. But when I start to work, I know it's Harton Avenue. First, I'm coming up that way. And I come there the Saturday morning. And it was good. It was good. Because things is rough with me, I tell you the truth.
Yes. Tough time in your life?
Yes. My children and mother cook dumpling and mackerel and give me in a plastic with my lunch.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I come, I meet, him should be here, Mark Grant. He were upstairs with Miss Sutherland doing some book work this Saturday. And him come down and say, him said, Trisha said, if you eat pork? He said, no, I don't eat pork. Him said, I'm going out to Knoxford Boulevard to buy something and bring it. And when him come and give me a nice box of chicken.
Yes.
And I, in case eat off the 4 dumpling me carry, and the mackerel, tell you true. I, in case eat off that food, and then we had that big lunch. Me, I'll bring home some.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me have a good experience with JMMB, and that's why I'm in the security work up till now.
Thank you. Stay with us.
The Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics and Leadership, UTech Jamaica, #1 for innovation and entrepreneurship. After 10 years of service, we create the entrepreneurial mindset, enabling all our students to have a registered innovative business before they graduate. Enjoy the benefits of ease and convenience of our virtual 24/7 space at our Technology Innovation Center. Apply now and reap the rewards.
Tap and go with the JMMB Bank Visa debit card. Enjoy the convenience of paying directly from your JMMB Bank checking or savings account. Online shopping is also a breeze. Invest in stocks on the Jamaica Stock Exchange through JMMB. You can buy and sell stocks online all on your own. Like lifelong friends, JMMB has your best interest at heart. Contact a JMMB advisor today and let's take on your futures together.
JMMB and me.
Welcome back. So this is the segment of the show where we hear from the audience, and of course we call on some people who have been integral to the success of JMMB and to the work of Joan Duncan.
Good evening. My name is Joan Duncan. I am a student of the University of Technology, Jamaica, pursuing my Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship under the training of the Joan Duncan School of Entrepreneurship, Ethics, and Leadership. My question to you guys is this. Over the many years that this institution has been about, right, what has been the biggest surprise that you guys have witnessed seeing its growth and innovation over the years?
Well, trust me, the world is full of surprises. Okay? Especially in the last, I would say, 5-10 years. Every year there's an event. Starting from COVID, and even prior to that, going back 2008, going back to, there's always some kind of event that's going to shake the markets and shake the financial sector. And you always have to be responsive, always have to be able to go into solution mode. But like COVID was a big one because you didn't know where the world was going to go, right? Oil prices went to zero because the world was going to lockdown. Oil prices went to zero, right? And nobody knew what was going to happen with inflation, interest rates, the economy. So, and then over time, things work out. At the end of the day, things work out. They always even out. And you have to just be able to keep a level head. And what JMB was able to do in every crisis that occurs globally, sit down as a team, work through solutions, and make strategic decisions and choices and execute.
I want to ask Professor Shermaine Barrett, the Deputy President and Provost at UTech, to just speak to the lessons of vision of love and its successful incorporation into an organization like JMMB, and what, if anything, can be adapted into the way UTech conducts its affairs.
Wow, that's a big
easy one, Professor.
That's massive. But I think I'm going to go where I thought you would go, and it is sort of the lessons that I've learned or listening here.
That's right, yes.
Tonight or this evening. One of the things that really jumped out at me is when you hear love, you think this fuzzy thing.
Yes.
But as some of the different points that were made spoke to the point that to say you have a foundation of love in your company does not mean that you will not have to live up to your responsibility, yes, that you are held accountable, that you are to function when you say you're to function, and that there will be points of discipline. Because if you think from a biblical perspective, love is kind, love is patient, love does not hold on to wrongs. And I heard all of those things coming out there in the personal relationships, but also in the workplace, because that's where people get confused with this theme of love, like is this fuzzy thing. But here, what I'm hearing is that it's authentic because it does not deny all the values that make a company function. And that is, first of all, the individuals taking account of themselves and being accountable to each other and to the work that they are called there to do. So that's a big takeaway. But I would just want to cap it by saying I'm always fascinated sitting and listening to the story of this phenomenal woman, Joan Duncan. It has always been an encouragement to me as a woman.
Beverly Manley Duncan is, well, she needs no introduction really. And she tells me I must behave myself because she has to defend me every day and she's tired. So this is one evening when you won't have to defend me, because what I'm asking you about is this vision of love and its value for the goals that Project Jamaica has set through various administrations, various politicians. The Duncans, Joan Duncan and her children and the family have shown that it can lead to success, it can lead to profits, it can lead to upward mobility. Can Jamaica not benefit from this approach, this vision of love as you pursue your goals and objectives?
The key thing is how you define it, how you come to see it, love, instead of, you know, sort of seeing it like a hairy-fairy thing, which it's not.
Yes.
It's a very definite belief system that JMB has chosen when it says love. I was fortunate to have a very close association with Joan, and she actually, in the early days, and I don't even know if I shared this with the siblings, went to my mother's house. And my mother called me and said, a red woman come to my gate today, see? My mother was like Joan, you know, she was out there. And my man tell me, say, me not let her in, but me let her in. And she come tell me about something where she's starting, and my mother went on and asked me where my money was. Mama says, I told her my money was under the bed. And having experienced the 1920s, I was not going to move it. And by the time she done with me, I give her everything. I give her everything. And then she persuaded my aunt, who was a similar person, and who got to the stage where she'd call me and say, oh, you never tell me, I said, JMB making some money and whatever, because she had become a client. And really chastised me properly, because she didn't hear about it and she missed it.
Yes.
And, you know, when I listen to them, I say, you know, when Joan talked about why JMB, and somebody said it earlier, it was to allow the masses of Jamaican people to be able to have the same opportunity that the people who owned the economy had and who were making money. She wanted them to have the experience. She was an extraordinary person. And I was saying to Kevin earlier that I don't think in all my travels whatever I've met any human being, man or woman, like Joan.
Thank you very much. Auntie Elaine, you're going to close the show for us. Yeah, and I just want you, listen, I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm just going to ask you to speak from the heart.
I started JMB July 11, 1994. I started as an office attendant. That went well until one day I was coming off the road. She was somebody like this. Her office is always open. And when I was walking across, she said to me, I need to speak to you. I said, I wonder what Ms. Duncan want to talk to me about. I went and I did what I was going to do and went back to her office. When I went in the office, she said to me, Elaine, I have one question to ask you. Where you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? I did like this. She said to me, I know what you're thinking, you know. And she said to me, you're wondering, am I going to live to see 5 or 10 years from now? I said, exactly what I'm thinking, Mrs. Duncan. She said to me, well, I wanted to say something about that. She asked me what I like to do. And I told her I love children and I like catering. She said, stop that part. She said in her dream of having a company, that was one of the things that she thought about, to have a nursery where her team members were comfortable while they are at work. If they have to work a little overtime, they will be comfortable because the kids are still there. She said, don't go any further. Go to your supervisor, who was, of course, Trisha. Walked to her office and I gave her the message and she said, so what are you going to do? The first thing you need to do is to get the director and find a school. I tell you, the rest is history.
Yes.
I would never change that for anything.
Yes.
I have been managing that nursery since 1996 until now.
Yes.
And it's like, I don't even feel tired.
Yes.
I don't even feel tired. So I think Mrs. Duncan, for me, she's a gem. I will never forget her. I will never, ever forget that woman.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, here is what I want to leave you with tonight. Joan Duncan was not a saint. She was not perfect. After all, none of us is perfect. But she made a decision early, and then again, every day, that she would build her life, her family, and her company on love. If you take nothing else away from this activity, take this. There's greatness in every single one of us. We share one common humanity. None of us is better than the other. None of us is perfect. And all of us are better off when we stand for each other as one family. That is what we saw in JMMB's culture. In our schools, through Conversations for Greatness, where a cleaner became an ambassador and was finally seen. In our communities, through Project STAR, where major crime fell by up to 80% because someone decided a community was worth standing for. And right now in Maryland and Cottage Road, where deep rural Jamaicans are rebuilding their own homes after Hurricane Melissa. Not because anyone rescued them, but because someone stood beside them while they uncovered the greatness they already had in here. So, here is your invitation. This week, not next year, not when you get the promotion, not when you have more time. This week, build your own vision of love. Build it for your family. Build it for your team. Build it for your community. Build it for your country. Write it down. Live it. Choose it again tomorrow when it is hard. Because the Jamaica described in Vision 2030, the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business, that Jamaica will not be built on policy alone. It will be built by you, by me, and by every leader who chooses love. Joan Duncan asked the question 40 years ago, what's love got to do with it? Tonight we answer her. Joan, love had everything to do with it, and it still does. Good night, Jamaica. Lead from love. Stand for each other. For after all, we all are one family.